has come up with mechanism to count the carbon neutrality where you are today, the campus, the actions, everything can be monitored. So that is the specialized guidance which will be given by the CARE Foundation. But all other things have to be done by the university in guidance of teachers. It will be the basic students' participation and students' action. That's my vision of net zero and not zero. This is a curriculum. This is a real education beyond the curriculum. And therefore, let us start it. I am very sure not only 75, but practically all universities and colleges will join in this. And I will talk to UGC and other bodies also, and they will definitely be helping everything. I will talk to the minister and other concerned people also, and we will take this forward as a national movement of the education field by the students, guided by teachers, planned by management, and achieved by the country to achieve the goals of net neutrality put up by Prime Minister Narendra Modi. Thank you and all the best for this new initiative. I declare this campaign as launched, and from today we'll start our efforts in that direction. Thank you and all the best for listening me patiently for
direction. So let's celebrate this progress. Let's set our aim for even bigger ambitions in the future. Today I want to celebrate the smart cloud network for zero carbon emissions, which was established by my very good friend Rajendra Chende in the Terra Foundation in Pune, and which I co-chair the advisory committee with my very good friend Prakash Javadekar, former Minister of Environment of India. So this is a great group of people, and can there be any better audience than to speak than chancellors and vice chancellors of Indian universities about this fantastic topic. I'm currently in China. There is great progress in China on environment issues. Pollution in cities like Beijing has come down dramatically in the last decade. China is in the biggest tree planting nation in the world, biggest solar power in the world, the biggest wind nation in the world, and 57% of all cars in the world, which are electric, are sold in China. So China has done a lot to move in a green direction, but this is now also happening in India. I'm a great admirer of Prime Minister Modi, because in the past the debate in India was always, do we want to develop or do we want to take care of Mother Earth? And then, of course, nearly all Indians wanted to develop. Prime Minister Modi came with a completely different perspective. The win-win perspective. In the win-win-win perspective, India can create any number of jobs and prosperity, can keep the Indian people more healthy with less pollution, and do great for Mother Earth by the same policies, that is green growth. That's why it's launching green hydrogen mission for India, green electric car vehicles mission for India, green batteries mission for India, and so on and so on, using the state to drive the industry, the Ambanis, the Adanis, and all the small companies of India in a green direction. But ultimately, to create the necessary awareness for environment, we need to make environment a people's issue. Prime Minister Modi got this exactly right when he said that the conversation about environment need to move from the conference tables to the dinner tables. We need to speak a language which people out there can understand. We need to set out environment issues, not just for young aspiring city people, but also for the old farmer in Rajasthan or in Bihar who may not see all the benefits of the green revolution of solar or wind industries. Let's make the environment a people's movement, and one part of that is of course to mobilize young people of India through the smart cloud network and mobilize the universities. Every progress in human history, youth have played a key role. They are driving change, speaking with other parts of society, and universities nearly always are platforms for the new ideas. The big new idea in the 21st century is to take really good care of Mother Earth, and I'm sure Indian universities can play an absolute core role in that movement. So I really encourage all of you, chancellors, vice chancellors, everyone else with a responsibility for universities to see how your university can be part of this great change. Let me set out a few areas where I think change can happen. First, and maybe most important, curriculum. Cause climate change, protection of nature, the idea to bring down pollution, all these need to be part of the education, part of the conversation students and teachers have, and that will also bring new ideas and new suggestions which political leaders and business can pick up for future development. So make sure environment is a key component of the curriculum of your university. Secondly, energy. We need to move from coal into solar and wind. That's the win-win solution, because the more we move from coal into solar, not only do we good for Mother Earth, but we save money. The other day here in China, I visited Longyi. That's now the biggest solar panel and solar system company in the world. It's grown like that. In the past it was just a small group. Now it's a big company producing any number of jobs for people in China, but of course India also has the same need for jobs, and that's why Prime Minister Modi has launched Make It in India mission to make sure that the production of solar panels and every other important industries is kept in India and providing jobs for Indians. But make sure the university is covered by solar panels. Solar panels can now be integrated into the university walls. They can have every color if you want to have it in white or pink or yellow, and solar panels can be in that color. Every parking lot, every roof can be covered by solar, and it will create a lot of green energy for the university and save money over some time. Look into transportation. How do the students and the staff get to the workplace? Can they avoid driving by cars? Can they go by public transport? Can buses be set up? Can there be a bike sharing system so that students can use bikes? And can we arrange so that university campuses are easily accessible? By the way, there are now 27 cities in India where metro is under construction. 10 years ago there was only Delhi, and 15 years ago nowhere in India there was a metro system. There is so much progress that universities should demand that cities set up public transport, and they can help setting up transport for the students. So energy, transportation, curriculum, then make sure that there is less waste. Try to make the campus zero plastic free. Prime Minister Modi has abandoned a number of plastic products from India, has prohibited them. There's no need for a straw. Can't a student drink by a straw from bamboo or paper, or drink right from the cup if he wishes to have a cup of tea or a glass of water? There's no need for plastic cutlery. You can abandon all this, and there's no need for putting every paper into a plastic cover when you do the education. Try to make the campus zero plastic free, and you set an example for everyone to avoid plastics. And at the very end, make sure the campus is green. Beautiful green campuses will attract more students, better students, attract the talent. So it's wonderful for the progress of the university, but at the same time, of course, fantastic for Mother Earth. We can do a lot more tree planting. China is doing that at large scale now, but it's also happening in big numbers in India. State of Telangana has increased the tree cover of Telangana with about 5% in the last few years. Wonderful. My friend Chief Minister Stalin of Tamil Nadu set a target of 10% increase in the tree cover of Tamil Nadu in the next decade. A wonderful target, and we see it starts happening. And in the state of Madhya Pradesh, Chief Minister Chauhan he is planting one tree every day. Well, that makes a small little forest by Mr. Chauhan in the capital of Bhopal, but of course, much more important, it inspires 80 million people in the state of Madhya Pradesh to do tree planting. So these are just some suggestions for your consideration about energy, transport, tree planting and more, but turning the universities green will attract better talent and is also massively good for Mother Earth. Finally, if we look for inspiration for doing more for the environment, I suggest there is no better place to go than to the thinking of the old Indians. Look there, everywhere in the world, the people in Asian people were worrying with the environment, but maybe no place as much as in India. The old Indians even venerated nature so much that made God half animal, half human. Hanuman, half monkey, half human. Ganesh, half elephant, half human. The cow, well, we respect the cow so much that we don't want to kill the cow because that is our mother, we get the milk, and it's a symbol of nature. So to capture the inspiration from Indians 2,500, 3,000 years ago, who made these wonderful, beautiful thoughts about nature, let us implement them in the 21st century and make the planet green again, make the planet wonderful again, and the smart campus cloud network is a key driver in this beautiful future for planet Earth. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Eric, in case he's watching this, but we are inspired by his knowledge about India, and also the key message that go to the nature. Nature is the best teacher. And second one is, India is the place where the world can learn about net zero and resolving the issue of climate change. Again, another speaker right on time. We are going on well. And our next speaker is Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe. And to this audience, which is in a field of education, he does not need really any introduction. Presently, he is a chairman of National Board of Accreditation, also NETF, National Education Technology Forum, and also of NAC, which I think each and every college and university knows about. Earlier, when he was a chairman of AICTE, he was a staunch supporter, and even today, of Not Zero, Net Zero. I have seen him in a number of fora talking about it. So basically, he is a passionate educator, and that's why I think award that he got for Mahatma Gandhi Leadership Award, that was well suited, well meant, and it gives a message to us that in every field we require leadership, and that's what he provides. Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Rajendra Shendeji. Since around 11:30, we have been listening to you, Sri Prakash Javadekar ji, and Dr. Eric Solom just now. Each one of them have put in their points of view on this very important program that you have launched, U75 Net Zero University Campus. There is a beginning which started long ago in terms of creating a network of institutions under Smart Campus Cloud Network. Gradually, we are developing more and more into use of technology in monitoring, in measuring, and then moving forward in the direction of carbon neutrality. As our former Honorable Minister, Sri Prakash Javadekar, rightly pointed out, our Honorable Prime Minister Modi ji is very passionate about climate change, the effects of that, which are visible to all of us, and therefore, how do we take care of it? We are talking about green technologies. We are talking about green hydrogen. We are talking about solar energy. All of these sources of energy, which earlier, through the processes that were involved, were producing a lot of emissions, carbon dioxide emission, nitrous oxide emission, methane, chlorofluorocarbons in air conditioning systems or the refrigerators, and then even water vapor in the atmosphere. All of them create this climate change, and the world is aware of this climate change. We don't have to keep telling about it. The effects are visible. As rightly pointed out, the rains are coming in odd months, not in monsoon. Monsoons are getting delayed sometimes. I think these are the changes which are happening. And we all are aware that if the temperature increases by 1.5 degrees centigrade further, there is going to be a total catastrophe. No reversal is going to be possible. And that's why the whole world, including United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, we all are talking about carbon neutrality. And we here in India, through you, Dr. Shende, we are talking about not zero, but net zero. Not zero is fine, we can have currently taking care of it. But the damage which is already done, if we want to correct it, we need to talk about net zero and not just zero. So therefore, understanding these effects, challenges, the problems, all of that is to be understood. Although all of these problems are created by the so-called developed world, we cannot get away from solving the problem which they have produced for all of us, but we have to take proactive steps in terms of neutrality of carbon, and therefore we have to create what we know as institutional ambassadors. And we are talking about cloud network. All these 75 institutions should become role models, and they create probably another 750 institutions. Each one should mentor at least 10 other institutions. These 75 universities and colleges can become 750 in a matter of a year or two. And then these 750 will have to take forward to 7,500, about 1,200 universities, 50,000 colleges. We have a big task cut for us. When the Honorable Prime Minister has committed that we will become total carbon neutral by 2070, it is the responsibility of every educational institution, every individual to follow that. And by 2070, we should promise our Prime Minister that we will achieve it in 2050 itself. That is the challenge which we should take up on ourselves. As pointed out by both the previous speakers, Dr. Eric and Dr. Prakash Javadekar, about what are the activities which we should undertake. I think few of the activities are very important. One of them is the curriculum itself. Both of them talked about curriculum, and we should not have it beyond curriculum, but it should become part and parcel of the curriculum. And AICT long ago had made environmental science and engineering as a mandatory subject long ago, but now we can also carry suitable credits. We can have a minor degree in environmental science and technology along with a major in any discipline of engineering. And so is the case with even subjects like commerce, economics, arts, because climate change is affecting every citizen, every student. And therefore, it is not only university curricula, but also the school curricula. We have to create youth who are made climate ready. If it has to happen, it has to happen not only in the colleges and universities, right from school time. And all of these, we are talking about today smart cities, but smart campuses are very important, be it school or high school or a college or a university. They are actually the living labs. Students first-hand observe, see, practice, and whenever they go outside, whether as a bureaucrat, whether as a person working in an industry. By the way, you said in the beginning that it is a May Day. 1st May is the International Workers' Day. So all the workers who are participating in the development of the economies of the world, they must be all tuned to the carbon neutrality. And where can it start? It can only start from the educational institutions, schools, colleges, and the universities. And each one of them should feel passionate about growing plants, planting a sapling when they join the college or a university or a school, and taking care of it for the next 3, 4, 5 years so that the plant actually survives. That is also important. Many a times symbolically we do tree plantation and forget about the plant. So there is a responsibility to be given to every student who plants a tree to continue that. One student, one plant plantation was already taken as a drive. Millions of trees were planted in India by these students. Then comes the water. How can we effectively reduce the use of water? In fact, Indian economy is a circular economy. Indians are circular economists by their very nature, by their traditions, by their philosophy, by their ancient texts. That's why we talk about use, reuse, recycle, and we don't throw away anything. In fact, make use of it. Waste is also converted into wealth. And therefore, whether it is the campus waste which is created can be converted into energy, solar energy development, using appliances which are highly efficiently rated. Thereby, our utilization of electricity is first of all reduced, as much as possible it's reduced. And wherever required, it should be from out of the sources which are renewable in nature. Be it solar, be it our gases which are produced from the waste that is generated, or the not only biogas plant but also wind energy. We should try everything that is possible. Last but not the least, since you talked about representing myself as a NAC and NBA, the parameters are there with small weightages. I think weightages in NBA, NIRF for institutions to follow neutrality should have more weightage, and I'm trying to do that so that all are not only concerned about that, but they will take it positively and implement those, thereby making our planet a better place to live in. And the training of faculty, training of our students is also equally important. We must make use of technology in order to transmit this to all the sections. 75 institutions are participating, but why not all the institutions be made aware of it? And therefore, training programs for leadership, principals and vice chancellors on one side, faculty, HODs on the other side, and the students. I think we must take care of all of this training program, which is already started, but in a big way. And if we create this awareness, the day is not far when we can achieve the target set for us ourselves much earlier than what we have envisaged. Thank you. Namaskar. Pranam.
What an inspiration. And this is what I think each student, each faculty, and each vice chairman and deans and HODs are looking forward to. Thank you very much. I think you got one more award earlier, and I now recall why it should be. You were called as a Maha Entrepreneurship, not entrepreneurship. Because I think you are trying to connect the people, the universities, for multiplying the impact. And I totally agree that each of the students who will become SDG ready, future ready, and climate ready, as you added that, those ambassadors will be able to do the multiplying effect and probably bring the dream of our beloved Prime Minister into reality. Thank you very much for that. And I'm also looking forward to your continued guidance and your messages saying that in what way the assessment process will go and how the importance of carbon neutrality will be given in the assessment and evaluation. Thank you very much. Our next dignitary is Professor T.G. Sitaram. He is my IIT alumni colleague, and his introduction is simply that whatever we are talking about now, he has already initiated that in IIT Guwahati, when he was a director of Indian Institute of Technology. So we will be listening to him based on his hands-on experience. So he is really walking the talk. He himself is quite closely related to the IIT Roorkee for getting various awards, and at a very young age he had got the C.V. Raman Young Scientist Award of Engineering way back in 2002. He is interested in a number of issues including Indian Geological Society, Geotechnical Society, and also in terms of making the campus a relevant living laboratory for the students to learn from. Professor T.G. Sitaram, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Namaskar, Dr. Rajendra Shinde. Thank you very much for the nice introduction. Honorable Sri Prakash Javadekar ji, Dr. Rajendra Shinde ji, Dr. Sahasrabudhi ji, and all the vice chancellors of the universities and other dignitaries who are present on this platform. First of all, let me congratulate Green Terry Foundation, and particularly Dr. Shinde, who initiated a nationwide movement to equip the youth in the 75 universities at the first set with their active engagement in localizing sustainable development goals in their campuses. As Professor Sahasrabudhi is saying, from 75 to 7,500, we have to reach, and it can be reached very quickly because such a network is possible. I also thank all the members of the Smart Campus Cloud Network to join this national launch of carbon neutrality in 75 universities. Friends, we are celebrating
Hey, welcome to
G20
ClickUp.
presidency.
We're so excited you're here.
The policy priorities for the G20 is one Earth, one family, one future. So we have only one Earth. So we need to take care of that. I think Dr. Sindeji has started the right time, this movement among the universities, so that we also contribute in our own way for the Mother Earth. United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, out of 17 of them, 11 spells out very clearly sustainable cities and commodities. The ultimate goal of the net zero is to limit the global warming to below 1.5 degrees. As Dr. Shinde was saying, this is real. This is not a number which we just play with it. And to avoid the worst impacts of the climate change, what we should be doing. That's what we need to think about, and create awareness, and also develop plans and execute them. Friends, achieving net zero will require a combination of technological advancements, policy changes, societal shifts, and even the mindset of the individuals, along with individual actions and choices. It is a very crucial step, ladies and gentlemen, in transitioning towards a sustainable future and addressing the urgent issue of climate change. It's a difficult, very difficult to balance between the amount of carbon dioxide emissions produced and the amount removed from the atmosphere, with the ultimate goal of limiting global warming and avoiding the worst impacts of the climate change. The Earth's climate is changing rapidly due to human-centric activity. That's all, we all are the contributors. So mainly, even Dr. Javadekar was highlighting that it is not India is contributing, but still we are a very responsible country. We are actually doing the best what can do even to contribute to the world's problem. It's actually more of a USA and developed countries problem, but we are contributing to change that state. The Earth's climate is changing rapidly. There is no question about that. So how are we going to do this? So these impacts in turn are affecting even economy of India, health of our fellow citizens, ecosystem, and ultimately, the bearing the brunt of these consequences is our people. We have been declared as the largest populated country just last week by the United Nations. So we are in, we have crossed 1.4 billion, crossing China. So I think we need to do our bit, and that's what we are all agreed to do with Dr. Shinde's leadership. We are going to do this in the universities, and I think we can scale this up to a large numbers of universities. And to address this climate change crisis, it is very necessary to stabilize the climate and avoid the worst impacts of climate change. So the alternative energy is one aspect of that, and wherein we could use the electric vehicles, and autonomous vehicles where you optimize the energy consumption in our vehicles, and also this is not just a mere one aspect of it. So we need to look at new kinds of engineers who can bring changes. So that's where All India Council for Technical Education is looking at. So that's where we need to change the curriculum, which is suitable to bring the net zero into our curriculum. Previously, as Dr. Shinde was highlighting, as a director of Indian Institute of Technology, Guwahati, we had introduced a compulsory course to all our undergraduate BTech and B design students on the sustainable development goals, because very, very important and apt to educate the students about what are SDG goals, how are we going to mitigate this. So in the second year of BTech and B design, a compulsory course was introduced at IIT Guwahati. More than 1,000 students used to take, and more importantly, this course was taught by 9 different faculty from 9 different departments. It's truly multidisciplinary in that. So AICTE's Clean and Smart Campus Award, I think many speakers before me mentioned, which was aimed to seek engagement with all the stakeholders, primarily the student community, to draw their attention towards immense scope and potential that technology offers for abstract objectives such as cleanliness, sustainability, and environment. The rising use of technologies, especially IoT, robotics, cloud and automation, and data science, have also immense potential to remodel a campus into a smart campus. This is very important not only we are achieving net zero, we will also make our campuses smart. So these smart campuses can minimally help in forward delivery by optimizing the use of inter area energy, water consumption. Water is one aspect, ladies and gentlemen, we need to address it very. Unless and until our all 6 lakhs villages are self-sufficient in water, we will not be a developed nation, and also we will not be able to achieve the net. So water is a very critical aspect, and mission water should be a focus also in this aim towards bringing net zero. Smart campuses, again, come back to smart campuses, which would construct smart citizens, those who are future ready for the smart cities. That's where AICTE can contribute to create a smarter India, because we are very strong in the STEM areas, and we are already third in the world, so we could become number one. So AICTE, one student, one tree, and AICTE grant for augmenting infrastructure in Northeastern region, Gainer, are also notable projects in this direction of net zero. So the Gainer is also a very important project which you have to see, where we try to bring in the disadvantaged institutions in the Northeast to also in the forefront. So this is the AICTE has done successfully and implemented this the last couple of years. Despite COVID-19, unprecedented scenarios being tipping point for the electric vehicle sales or automakers and consumers, which will need to accelerate their adoption. If you hope to meaningfully limit climate change, reducing carbon emission from vehicles is a critical. And currently, as per global report published by the McKinsey, says road transport accounts for 13% of the global carbon emissions. So we need to do more on that. The decade between 2025 to 2035 will determine whether the industry can keep cumulative carbon dioxide emissions under control. The energy and transport sectors can work together. That's where we need to bring curriculum. AICTE will do that, whether it is on smart charging technologies or electric vehicles, introduction, many of these. So there must be a coalitions which can be formed to develop clean supply chains for the creation of low carbon battery solutions that reflect the full potential of a circular economy. Ultimately, the world's regulators and policymakers may have to intercede, adopting an ecosystem perspective with cross-border goals and meaningful timeliness for everything from a number of charge points needed for a trajectory of carbon reduction. So that means there are many things we have to do as a collectively. So networking and working together is a very key. Without this kind, networking and collaborations, it is unlikely that the shift of, from going to the net zero will be a very big challenge. I would like to mention here that the concretization is next, like most essential, but that is very, very important. So we need to look at many of the newer technologies which are sustainable and which we need to adopt. So achieving net zero will require significant changes in how we produce and consume energy, as well as broader societal and policy shifts are very essential. So I feel research and development and innovation should be very key component of all this in the institutions. So R&D and innovations should be the focus of our institutions. So the research and development, whether it is in efficient building systems or industrial electrification or waste to energy, and such projects should take the lead in our institutions. And I hope under the aegis of the Ministry of Education, AICTE is continuously partnering in these initiatives and activities related to environment and sustainable goals among students or faculty members and in all the AICTE approved institutions. A world record was also recently, just last week, was created in the Climate Clock Assembly, partnering with Energy Swaraj Foundation, where we had actually asked the students to create the climate clock. That means basically assemble the climate clock, and it was a world record both in Asia and also Limca India record was also created. And I think this is jointly with Swaraj, Energy Swaraj Foundation, who is Professor Solanki from IIT Bombay, who was instrumental in carrying out this. So with these few words, I once again congratulate Dr. Rajendra Shinde ji for taking this initiative to launch the 75 carbon neutral net zero universities. And I wish and I hope that this 75 will go into 7,500 and we will include all of them into our network and do well. So I wish the program a very good and successful one, and we are going to be part of this with you. Thank you. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.
Thank you, Professor Sitaram. It was such a reassuring your words, and those are coming from the person who has already done the work in a campus. So not only we require your guidance as a chairman of AISTT, but we would require your guidance from the person who has already done it. And I think that experience is going to be helpful. The key message is speed, scale only will lead to the sustainability. So these 3 S are important. I don't think it's just launching a program. As Dr. Anil Sahasrabudhe, Dr. Javadekar ji and Sitaram ji has been again and again emphasizing that 75 is a start and it should be multiplied into 12,500 universities and maybe 40,000 colleges, and those dots, when they are connected, I think then the smart universities will become smart cities to the smart states, and smart states to smart India. That's the dream of our Prime Minister. So thank you very much for those inspiring words and the details that we have talked about. Our next speaker is a very amazing personality, and that is Professor Sunaina Singh. She is a Vice Chancellor of Nalanda University. And the moment we say about Nalanda University, we sit upright on our chair. It is the oldest, ancient, and that is being converted or almost there. As I interact with Sunaina ji, they are almost there to get the carbon neutrality in this most ancient university. Probably she will be able to tell you something which will inspire all others who are starting their journey towards the neutrality. But let me tell her background in a just nutshell. She is a professor, a Vice Chancellor of Nalanda, but she was also a professor of Oxford Academic University. And apart from that, she has won a number of awards, not only for herself, but also for the Nalanda University, for taking the environmental protection initiatives and creating what is called as a green warriors from Nalanda University. Earlier, Nalanda University used to create philosophical ambassadors, and today she is engaged in preparing what is called as sustainable and environmental ambassadors to go out and fulfill the dreams. Her bio is big. Probably it will take another 10 minutes for me to read it. But suffice it to say that she is yet another Vice Chancellor who has walked the talk. And her messages, her inspirational words are very much needed for 75 universities, for multiplication, for scaling and speeding. Professor Sunaina ji.
Thank you for that very magnanimous introduction, Dr. Rajendra Shinde ji. May I, wish Prakash Javadekar ji, Honorable, my former minister. So I'm so pleased to be in his company this morning. Eric Solem, Dr. Sahasrabudhe, again been a colleague, and Professor Sitaraman, and the other distinguished colleagues on the panel. Good morning and namaskar. I am going to briefly talk about what we have been able to achieve at Nalanda, and let me share my work here and how we have been able to challenges of creating a new campus, a university of future in the mold of Vishwaguru. Now we have created at Nalanda, and we are a functional, the campus itself functions as a laboratory. So we have created the largest net zero campus in the world. And I claim this because we have done enough research to check if there is any other campus as sprawling as Nalanda. Now we are situated on a 455-acre plot in Rajgir, which was Rajgriha and a capital of Mauryan Empire much before it shifted to Patliputra. And I have the presentation also you may look at. But you know, the idea was when we told our architect to create an architecture based on ancient Nalanda and come up with a plan that will be a reflection of our, Vishwaguru, and also it should then reflect not just our ethos, culture, which has brought together different nations under East Asia, West Asia, Central Asia, where knowledge domain is concerned in every aspect, but also to create a new campus that will be a living embodiment of net zero. That was the effort. And I came here towards the end of 2017 and we started around 2018 in reality. And today I am so privileged and proud to say that we have the campus ready. And it's a completely net zero, and that's why I call it world's largest net zero campus, because it takes care of about 200 structures here. On a 455 acres, we have a built up area of about 20,000 square feet, 2 lakh square feet, which comprises of sustainable 84 academic, administrative, amenities, utility buildings and structures, and it has 113 residential buildings, again comprising of residences, hostels, utility structures, all completely net zero. You'll be amazed to see. I would invite all of you to come and take a look at Nalanda. And we have created about 4.5 kilometers of storm water pines, which is ahar pines or drainage at the periphery of the campus to channelize the community water. More than 40 hectares of water bodies have been created. This again is such a, if you look at the picture there, that's the Kamal Sagar, we call it, that's the central water body. But we have about 13 ponds that we have created, over 100 acres. When we say 40 hectares, it's over 100 acres. Now let me give you a preview of the campus. It's about 466, 100 acres of water bodies, 20 acres of solar farm, 300 acres of greenery, and the rest is for buildings. So we've minimized and we have created a very extremely green, sustainable campus, which is as per our Honorable Prime Minister's, be it Paris Accord, where sustainable lifestyle was, initiated, or COP21, which again, reflective of how India has grown. And I think Nalanda can be pitched as an example of growth of, a green and sustainable campus. And we also have been following the mantra of our Honorable Prime Minister, lifestyle, for sustainable life, and teaching our youngsters that it is important to look at climate change and create a Panchamrit. And that is what we have been doing here. If you look at our other, document that we have sent, presentation, it's a completely passive approach, thick cavity walls, double walls that have been created, which takes care of energy demand, and as well as it's a resource rich environment, takes care of the heat generation, sustainable infrastructure to meet the annual requirement within the campus. And what is the annual requirement? We have worked it out in detail. It's 87 crore liter of water along with 18 months of buffer stock that has been created on Nalanda campus, and 1.6 crore of energy, again a surplus that we have created. And it's all zero carbon emission. Demand side management has been kept in mind, daytime and nighttime. Storage is there. And as I said, on-grid solar farm, over 20 acres. It's a PV captive power plant that has been created to take care of 6.5 megawatt of our requirement. Now we have also ensured that for nighttime demand, we have a surplus. So biogas operated combined heat and power CHP engine, which takes care of about 1.2 megawatt, that also has been taken care of. Then we have the SCADA smart grid that we have brought in to coordinate everything. Then we have looked at when the cavity walls were created, how did we do it? We dug up the ponds, and the earth excavated is used for compressed bricks. And our walls, wherever you see the buildings there, these are all exposed bricks emerging from our own excavated earth. So zero waste management. We've taken care of waste management as well here. So everything that you see on the campus is homegrown. And all this in 4-5 years, I think this has been a very fulfilling tenure for me personally, because we've been able to achieve so much here. Now, climate appropriate landscape design then includes DVAP, what is called as basic and enhanced evaporative technology, which takes care of cooling and heating of the buildings, or the thermal storage, or the selected herbs, even the trees, the herbs that are planted, take care of the waste. It will absorb the waste, and there's a lot of good things that we have done here. Now, digital addressable lighting interface, the DALI technology has been brought in, decentralized water treatment, DVAT. This again is a very complex kind of a thing, and to do it in the backwoods of Bihar, where things are quite difficult to achieve. So they've been able to achieve that. And what have we done? What are we saving here? And I was looking at the research. So we have saved about 25,000 tons of carbon dioxide on an annual basis, and has thereby contributed to the mission of our Honorable Prime Minister in reduction of carbon emission by 1 billion tons. Till 2030, it will go on here. 100% carbon emission reduction by Nalanda University will contribute to reduce carbon intensity of its economy by 45% by 2030. Now, this is a research on the ground based on what we have created. The other endeavor, while I was moving forward, creating this sprawling campus of net zero, we have also ensured that we are abreast with UN Sustainable Development Goals. So we've taken care of SDG 4 as much as possible, innovative programs, courses, experiential learning, field work, credit systems, courses on environment, climate science, disaster management. All these things are a reality here. A PhD and master's program. So that is then SDG 6, where clean water and sanitation. Because this again, how we rotate the water, groundwater and the plantation, the flushing, the water is circulated and cleaned there. So that also is taken care of by SDG Goal 6, SDG 7, clean energy. We have been working diligently to achieve this goal, and today it's a reality. SDG 12 is consumption responsible